We are, yes, we are now. Well done. Uh, keeping it nice and chilled with the intros as always. Well, even though it takes like 10 seconds to actually come up on the stream, it usually records this part of the conversation that we have. Just gonna give it a couple more seconds before I start doing the intro. Alright, well I've got the red light saying we are live. So hello everybody and welcome to round 7 of the Premier Series, coming to you live from mine and Natty's home track in Silverstone. Speaking of which, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I am your Season 2 Premier Series champion, Natty G, here once again for the commentary at Silverstone, and this should provide a very good race as it did last season.
Yes, certainly. And just to take you through a couple of the changes and penalties for this week. So we've got V Roby from the Academy stepping up to the Premier for the next couple of weeks. He's going to be in the Haas this week, but he's going to be replacing GSY Bates over at the Williams team. Keeping with the Williams theme, Guillotine has been handed an LLP5 from last race, which means that he will not be participating this evening. And on top of that, penalty needs Shankster LLP2 from last race. So he will be dropping 3 positions from wherever he finishes today. So that out of the way then, let's have a look at Joe, the one-time winner in the Premier Series, took that win in the wet at Canada as he starts his lap now in the Racing Point. So let's do a quick onboard lap here with Joe. Right at the beginning of the session, through turn 1, flat out in 8th gear, and through 2, keep the car to the left-hand side, brake in a straight line and down into 3rd gear for the Englishman here, down into 2nd again for turn 4 at the loop. Also, no, he's lost it! And Joe has spun round and down there at Farm, and he will be disappointed with that, certainly. Yeah,
unfortunate for Joe, just got in the car a little bit too early, and I'm sure we might do another lap on those tyres. Might be a little bit cooked, but Isaac Smart's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane.
Ah, that's the first time I've ever seen that given out in the Premier Series. Anyway, the game being a bit tricksy there, but Thunder currently sat behind his teammate Wolfie, who's coming through Luffield now. And Wolfie, Natty, a driver who has just had a bit of bad luck, has not had lightning quick pace this season, but definitely has fallen victim to some bad luck, would you say?
Yeah, he's been there or thereabouts in the midfield, but a few unfortunate races in the past few weeks, but I'm sure he'll be fighting to get some more points for himself. Currently on 6 points in the championship so far, but I'm sure he'll definitely be able to find some good pace around this track tonight.
Yeah, certainly. Speaking of the championship, Natty, could you take us through what the standings look like at the moment?
Well, after, what round is this? Round 7. Yep. So after 6 rounds, Absolute 11 is currently the championship leader on 121 points, 36 points clear of Cash Dangle behind on 85. Rosa currently in 3rd place on 81, closely followed by F1 Lover and Joe, both drivers on 62 points. So the top 5 is pretty close up together, but Absolute 11 has got an early 36 point lead, so it's a good, decent lead from Absolute.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just watching the drivers filter their way through the end of the lap now. Tiger Assassin in the McLaren going into P4 at the moment then, but Cash Stengel on provisional pole with a 1 minute 25.4. If you remember back to last year actually, Mr. Schumacher in the Academy did a 1 minute 24.8, so I think there's a lot more time to be found for our Premier Series drivers this evening. Absolute 11 now, our championship leader, as you just said, Natty, out there on the medium tyres at the moment. That's on the fastest middle sector of absolutely anybody then, so let's see what Absolute 11 can do then in the final sector now. Shifting down to 6th gear for Stowe, high speed right hander, full commitment there from the German down towards the Vale, the final couple of corners here at the Silverstone circuit. In 3rd, short shift to 4th as he wired over the curves and now to the line. What's going to be for Absolute? It is 9th place only, so the slowest of the cars who have completed the lap so far. I'm sure Absolute will be doing everything that he can to improve on that lap time.
As Thunder's actually setting 2 purple sectors through the first and middle, coming through into, and he's actually coming into the pits this lap.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if he had enough fuel to complete that lap, to be honest with you, Natty. Fuel management is something that the Irish team over in GT Sports struggle with a little bit.
Trying to find someone on a lap. F1 Lover's on an invalid lap. There's a Racing Point behind, there's Hacker behind him on track on an outlap at the minute.
Nakler is on the lap, I believe, on the medium tyres. 27.1 and in first set. That is fairly quick from the Finnish driver. Making his way through Luffield now, shifting down to second for extra turning, and now on exit, blasting down the old main straight. I don't know if you've been here before, Natty, but I've been here once for Formula Renault, and we sat like on the exit of Cops. It was actually quite cool to see the cars flying through. I think you came for the 2015 Grand Prix, didn't you?
Yeah, I was sat by the start-finish straight for that one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Nakula making his way through the middle sector then, 1 minute 2.4 so far, so has lost a bit of time, not the fastest I'm sure that we'll see in this session. I'm going to get the tyres up here real quick actually, there we go, fitted tyres. So as you can see, most of the drivers who've done a lap have done a lap on the soft tyres. Strategy fairly simple around here, but we'll talk about that more after qualifying as Napula makes his way now through the final corner. And what's it going to be for Napula? It is a 26.0, goes into P4 on the mediums. That is a very respectable time.
Not a bad lap from the Finnish driver in the Haas. Made medium tyres. He might go out later on the softs. Can confirm it will be an all-dry race as well. So it should be a soft medium or a medium soft.
Yeah, as I'm currently watching Froza, who I believe is second place in the championship in the very beautiful W11. Love that thing. Frozen now coming down the Wellington straight, one of two straights here actually. Now, see, the main straight has been renamed to the Hamilton straight actually in honour of Sir Lewis Hamilton, as I'm sure many of you will know. But yeah, Frozen then making his way out of Luffield now and down the old main straight where we saw who was it last season who drove into the wrong pit lane? Well, someone drove into the wrong pit lane last season and ended their race, so we'll try to avoid a repeat of that today. Flat out through Cops. Look at the grip on that Mercedes car, now making his way through Maggots, Beckett's, second part of Beckett's, Chapel. One of the best sequences in Formula 1, Natty, surely. On board with the Mercedes now, 1 minute 2.9, so has lost time in the middle sector so far. What can Froza do now then in the final sector? Can he claw back any of the time lost? Sit gear, full commitment through Stoke, very wide, and that is an invalidation. So Froza will not be able to set a lap time there, comes back into the pits, and will have to go again.
Yeah, unfortunate for Froza. Has time for 2 more laps in the session. A lot of people coming up the pits and starting their out laps. 10.7 who's on a lap. I think Thunder's about to start one of his laps in the Red Bull.
Do you want to do a commentary, Natty? I'm on board with Thunder, go for it.
Let's do this. So Thunder approaching turn 3, braking just after the 100 meter board, picking up the apex quite nicely on the inside. Downshifts to second before short shifting up to third. Through turns 4 and 5. Now opening up the DRS down the Wellington straight. I think this is braking around the 50 meter board towards turn 6 into 7. A little lock up on the front right, but hooked up the apex quite nicely. He's up on his time out of a minute, so this could be a lap to look out for Thunder. Currently in P3 as he makes his way towards Cops corner. A flat out fast right-hander turning in at the 50 meter board, not cutting it on the inside or going wide over the outside curve. That could invalidate your lap into Maggots and Beckett's. Another really fun flowing section of corners down into 50th here for Thunder before opening up the DRS down the final straight. He's 2/10 up on his time. So this could be good enough to go ahead of Shankster potentially if he gets a really good final sector. Into Stone now, not going wide on exit, and doing well not to go wide and invalidate his lap into the final sector now. He's taking it in third gear for the traction on exit through the final corner and up to the line. It's a 1 minute 25.7 and he stays in third place.
Yeah, so improves on his lap time but not on his position. Cash Stengel now goes to provisional pole with a 1 minute 25.0. So we're getting faster here, Natty, but not as fast as we were in the academy a couple of seasons ago. Tiger assassin, flat out. I can never get over that. The car's going flat out through Cops. That is just awesome to watch. These cars have just got such insane levels of downforce. It's a shame a little bit that we won't be seeing them past the end of 2021. But Tiger assassin 5/10 up here, Natty. Really feeling at one with that McLaren then at the moment. That's on the fastest middle sector of anybody. What can Tiger Assassin do then at his home track? There's a Williams off track in front of us, and now into Vale, the final chicane here of the Silverstone circuit. What can Tiger Assassin do? Currently finds himself in P7 round the final corner. What's it going to be for Tiger? It's a 1 minute 25.5, and he now goes into P4. Great lap.
Also, Napula in P3, a 1 minute 25.5 on the medium tyres. That is a really good lap from him.
If he decides to go onto the softs, could we see Napula back on pole position? That's the thing we haven't been able to say for a long time here in Gavra Racing, but I'm sure the Finn will be doing everything that he can to change that absolute 11 into P3 now in the 1 minute 25.5. So as you can see there, Natty, we've got 4 or 5 cars within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, it's so close, and Napula as well, being on those mediums. If he does go into the softs, I'm sure he's going to be able to find 6, 7, maybe even 8 tenths compared to the other guys on the soft. So it could be a pole lap for the Haas driver on a set of soft tyres, but you might try to start on the mediums and do something different.
And Ben Roberts, one of the GT Sport commentators, coming through the middle sector, 2 tenths up on his time. So this could actually put the Brit into the 1 minute 25. So everyone seems to be at the moment towards the sharp end of the grid now. Ben making his way through the Vale. Bit of a lock up on the front left, very easy to do around there. Has got a bit of a German themed helmet for this track then, but Roberts coming to line to the 1 minute 25, another 1 minute 25.5, and he goes into P5.
And yeah, it's so close as Bon Evil goes up into second place.
Well, at least it's not a 25.5.
3 thousandths behind Clash Stengel.
Yeah, that is a storming lap time from the English woman. Absolute 11 coming into the pits on that lap, I believe, as we are very rapidly getting towards the business end of qualifying here then, Natty.
Yep, only 5 minutes to go. There's pretty enough time for 1 or 2 more laps, so drivers will be trying to make them count, not get invalid, and push as hard as they can. The track will be at its quickest around this time in the quali session, so we've got a few drivers who haven't set laps yet. Ted coming around the final corner and out lap. Frozer doing one on the mediums, and F1 Love is still in the pits.
And I'm going to have a look here at Joe actually, Nancy, who has chosen to come out at quite an interesting time here in the session. He may not have enough time to go for another run after this lap, so this may be Joe's final lap here in qualifying. Obviously one of the things about this track being the pit lane limited to 37 miles an hour and being horrendously long, it is one of the major strategic points of this circuit. Joe though, 27.3 in the first sector, not the fastest that we've seen, but certainly not terrible from the Brit. We've got so many Brits on this grid here now. I think it's the home race for almost half the grid here in the Premier Series. Indeed it was for me and you when we both raced here in seasons 1 and 2. Joe then, through Cops, is going to keep it flat. Oh, bit of a lift from Joe, so not having the confidence in that racing point to take that corner completely flat out. Now making his way through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chaff. Oh, that is just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful stuff. But now Joe, almost 4 tenths up on his time so far. Coming into Stowe, the DRS snapshot there on the pink Mercedes as it blasts through Stowe and down towards Vale, the end of the lap here in Silverstone. You've got cars now coming out for their final runs in qualifying. No major dramas so far apart from Isaac Martin's invalidated and Joe who spun at the blows out!
And that is a very similar incident to one with Frozer on his lap. He span at the final corner as well, which is why he's done a 1 minute 34.1, but that's going to be the end of quali for the racing point. The race winner from Canada is now going to start at maximum of 14th place.
Yeah, so you know how I said no major drama? That... Why? Okay, well, moving swiftly on. Sorry, Joe. Absolute 11 on an out lap then. Not many cars coming back out here, Natty. I'm seeing on my my lovely MFD here. MFD spectator.
Looks like a lot of them are leaving it late. We've still got 2 minutes 50 seconds left to go. But a lot of people are on out laps at the minute.
Just having a look in the chat here. Yeah, Piero Hello to Piero as well. Nat was saying Shanks are looking too good. Looking very solid at the moment is the German. Obviously carrying that LLP2 though from last race as well. But yeah, I remember the last time we did this track in the Premier Series, me and him having quite the battle. If you haven't seen it, I strongly encourage you to go and watch it. But
I have vague memories of being in P3 and then just watching you two drift off into the distance.
And that was the end. You actually overtook me at turn 2, I think. Or turn 3.
And then you just came back through and went bye-bye, and that was the end of that.
So then, Tiger Assassin, can he lift himself out of the 1 minute 25.5s? We certainly hope so, because I don't want to say that particular number ever again. Let's see who else is on the lap. F1 Lover has done his final lap on the mediums, Natty. That is very bold from the Anglo-Ghanaian driver. So also kind of a home race for F1 Lover, born in the UK, races under the Ghanaian flag, much like I do, race under the Barbadian flag, because it's the first time I've been able to represent Barbados in the F1 game, and it is where my grandparents are from, so I thought, well, why not? Absolute 11 as well, our championship leader out on the soft tyres. He's improving on his lap time as well, Natty.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a lot of people. I think everyone is on softs apart from Hacker, Frozer and F1 Lover. The only 3 drivers fitted the medium tyres.
As Thunder goes P3 on the 1 minute 25.3. Let's see who else is coming to the line. I can see Bonivo, she's starting a lap. There's a Haas. Now that must be V Roby starting a lap. He's finishing a lap though. Hakan is the Moglu coming over the line. That is an invalidated lap. Spannel note, it's going to be JMB Surreal next, and he is also starting a lap here. Thunder has finished his. Wolfie around the final corner. Wolfie has backed off, so that's going to be his qualifying over then. A bunch of cars starting, but not many people at the end of one. Cash Stengel though, can Cass extend his advantage at the front of the field? F1 Lover goes into P10, 1 minute 25.8 on mediums. Cash Stengel is a lot faster now through the middle sector, and now into Stowe, full commitment in the Alfa Romeo, down to the latter stages of the final sector. Then what can the Dutchman do? Through Vale, lock up on the front left once again. Will ride on board now with Cash Stengel as he comes to the line. What's it going to be for Cash? This is 1 minute 24.8. He does extend his lead for provisional pole. Can anyone else beat him? Anyone else on the lap? There's a Mercedes. I think that might be Frozer who is on the lap. He's finished though. Tiger Assassin is a 10th down through the middle sector. Can he claw that back now in the latter stages of this lap? Let's see what he can do over the line. So not going to be good enough now. It's a 1 minute 27.2. So really fell off in that lap. What about one of the Alpha Tauris though? With Bonivo coming through the line. She's less than a 10th behind. Cash Stengel 1 minute 24.8 for both. But absolute 11, Natty, has been validated. So our championship leader will be starting 3rd at best here this evening.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers on invalid laps. Wolfie's backed off of his time. JB was in the pit. Spannel has invalidated his time, and Napula is 2/10 up, going through Maggots, Beckets and Chapel now on the hangar straight. This could be a good lap from the Haas driver. He sets the fastest middle sector. He's almost 6/10 ups on his time. Let's see what Napula can do going into Stowe now, approaching the final sector.
And could it
not to go wide.
Could it be Napula taking his first pole position in over a year here in Gavra Racing? Rounds the final couple of corners now. Where does this lap put the Finnish driver? And it is 2nd place. It's the front row of the grid. 3 drivers, Natty, 1 minute 24.8. It doesn't get much closer than that. Epic qualifying there.
Only 500 separating Cash Stengel and Bonivo, the top 3. And well, this is going to be an awesome and close race, especially at the top. But also, so many drivers in the midfield as well, separated by such fine margins. It's going to be an awesome one tonight.
Yeah, a bunch of cars on a 1 minute 25.5, 4 in the end there in qualifying, but that will be the end of this session, and no other cars being able to improve, which gives us a chance, Natty, to have a look at the chat who's here this evening. Hello to Black Country Mush. the person in charge of the Black Country Racing team over in GT Sport. Good evening. Good evening to RC8. Great win yesterday. RC8, Dan Schneider saying Tiger for pole. Unfortunately not. Actually, I'm going to take you through the grid really quickly here. So Cash Channel takes another pole position here in the Premier Series. Napula in second, Bonival third. Absolute 11, our championship leader in fourth. Thunder fifth. Shankster sixth on the mediums. Ben Roberts in seventh. Tiger Assassin eighth. V-Roby ninth. And J&B Surreal rounds out the top 10. F1 Lover on the mediums will have free choice of tyre in 11th. Wolfie 12th. His brother Ted in 13th. GS5 Bates 14th. Hakan Izamoglu in 14th. Joe, our Canadian Grand Prix winner, in 16th position only. Stanel 17th. And Frozer 18th. With Isaac Smart, the only driver to not set a lap time, rounding out the grid in 19th position. Hello to Piero. Hello, Tim, watching the stream once again. Robert Codfather, P7 yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant finish for him. Cryptic says the baby. Yes, we like the baby here, apparently. Hello to Gavra. I'm so sorry. Gavra saying it's Tiger. Weather report is all dry. Okay, so he must be happy with that. Ray Fizz saying hello. Hello, Ray Fizz. Daniel. I mean, hopefully you enjoy the stream so much you decide to stay and race with us here at Gavra. Crypt saying Silverstone is his third favourite track. Should be your first favourite track. Where's your national pride? No, I'm joking. Navel saying, what's your personal best at this track? I think I've done a 24/7 in time trial, 24/8 in qualifying. Robert Codfather saying, come on Tiger. Yes, we are rooting for Tiger this evening, it seems. Hello, iVelocity saying, yes, it was very close indeed. Who else is here? Hello to Cash Single as well, taking another pole position over here. Thunder saying that he needs a comfort break. Well, you've got about 24 seconds, Thunder, so hopefully you can do it quickly. But yeah, I would say just drive faster than Thunder. You really need it that badly. But anyway, we're going to get the formation up underway here now, which gives us a chance to talk strategy. So would you like to tell the lovely ladies and gentlemen this evening what will be the plan for that?
Yeah, definitely. And what strategy tonight should be a simple soft to medium tyres. The mediums are pretty bulletproof around this track, as I found out last season, doing pretty much 25 laps on a set of medium tyres. So yeah, maybe around lap 10 is when we'll see the scheduled pit stop. But it's for the lap 1 safety car, we might see the majority of the grid going to mediums. Some might opt for the softs instead.
And with the turn 1, 2, 3 complex, a safety car around here is definitely likely, with these fast sweeping corners straight off the start as well. We go into one, which could see some big spins. I've had a spin there, a lot of us have had a spin there, but yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out. Cash Stengel and I think that's Bonnie have really kind of just left the rest of the field behind here on this formation. That done a bit of a Max Verstappen there. Has he seemingly got, Natty, not many cars outside the top 10 on the mediums.
Yeah, we've got 6 drivers in total on the medium tyres, one of them being Shankster, who was able to qualify in 6th place in those mediums. So a really good lap from him. That will bring him into the end of the race when he's on those fresh, soft tyres. And I've just noticed, Shankster and Ben Roberts are pretty much running with exactly the same helmet.
Shankster and Ben, oh yes they are. There's slightly different tones of red. It's a good thing they're both not in the same car, otherwise that was going to get really confusing.
Also like Alpha Tauri stuff from this tier.
Alright then, so Cash Stengel takes his pole position slot on the grid. Can he convert it into another win this season? Let's get the UI off the screen here so you can see what our lovely 19 Premier Series drivers are doing. Coming round the final corner now. 26 laps, 1 winner, 3 drivers on the podium. Can anyone challenge Absolute's championship lead? We're going to find out shortly, as when the lights come on, we'll be going for the British Grand Prix in the Premier Series then. So the revs build, the lights go up to 5, and when they go out, it's going to be go for the British Grand Prix, and Cash Daniel's got off to a good start, so is Napa, but look at the two AlphaTauris now, flying through turn 1. I think that's Absolute 11 on the inside, pushing his teammate. Bonnie holds her ground though, and keeps the inside line for turn 2. Cash Daniel has roared away at the front here, and now Napa having a look at the back of one of the AlphaTauris, and Ferrari getting interested as well. Thunder on the outside of Ben Roberts, they head their way now through turn 2 and 3, so well behaved so far. The two AlphaTauris going wheel to wheel, and here comes Absolute 11 around the outside. Tiger's already gone further than last year, but we've got a spinner in the background, and that is Isaac Smart in the background.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Isaac. Really unfortunate they're losing the rear. Seems I don't know if there's contact. There's Ben Roberts and Thunder going wheel to wheel, and the Ferrari getting a move done on the Red Bull around the outside. And
the two AlphaTauris are going wheel to wheel into Cops. Natty Absolute 11 backs out of the move. Thunder gets it done on Ben Roberts. There's slight contact through the apex of Cops, and now here comes V Roby round the outside of the Ferrari into Magus, Beckett and Chapel. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. A Dutchman up into P6. That was an outstanding move, but he's locked up now on Ben Roberts coming back, and then Thunder's round. Thunder's round on the exit of Chapel. He's going to drop right down to the back of the field here now, but Cash Dengel still leads. Bonnie had a look on the inside into Stowe, but now she has the inside line. The next puller, can she dive it to the inside at Vale? There's contact between the two. Bonnie nearly goes round there like a pendulum and manages to keep the car on track. Absolute 11, a teammate right on her tail now, and Shankster is also round now in the final sector, and he's fallen back down to last position almost here. Very reminiscent of Callum Ilott in Formula 2. But now what can Bonnie do about Cash Dengel? She's on the inside line into turn 3. She's not letting this one go at all here, Natty. We're already on lap 2 of this race, and that is an absolutely outstanding battle for the lead here. Cass weaving to break the slipstream. You can't be too aggressive with that, as Bonnie hasn't got anything to attack with at the moment, although DRS came up saying it was enabled. Don't be fooled by the game. It's actually lap 2, not lap 3. Sorry about that one. As my interval gaps are glitching out everywhere. I think they're back to normal now, though.
Yeah, what a start we've had to this British Grand Prix. People going wheel to wheel into Cops. You've had 2 spinners already. Thunder losing it at the end of Chapel. Shankster losing it at the final corner as well. So really unfortunate for those guys, and hopefully we can see them fighting towards the end of this race.
My interval gaps are frozen, so I don't actually know what the gaps are. But here comes Absolute 11. Don't need to know what the gaps are. He's just got past his teammate. Napa now also challenging Bonnie Eagle down the back straight in towards third. They're going to go wheel to wheel, and Napa gets himself back up into 3rd position then. So the top 3 from qualifying shuffling around at the beginning of this race here, Natty.
Yeah, Wolfie as well going for a move on Jamie, so we're all getting the move done up into 9th place. Joe also trying to go for a move on Fraser, couldn't quite get it done. Into Stowe, Thunder and Hacker going. Walter is actually hacking, decides to come into the pits, probably for wing damage off of the mediums.
Yeah, and my interval gaps are back working then, so we'll try to bring you some more insight on that. So Cash Dengel, crucially here, Natty hasn't been able to break the DRS threat from Absolute 11. Now that could leave him vulnerable as we head into Luffield here. DRS open for the championship leader on one of his rivals now, down the Wellington Straight. Nothing trying here at the moment.
And yeah, the field is still so close. The top 8, only about 5/10 separating each individual driver. F1 lover gaining on the back of Tigers McLaren through the middle sector. But yeah, what a really good start. And unfortunately for Shanks, trying to start on those mediums, that spin is going to cost him some time.
Well, I'm looking at JMB and Joe going wheel to wheel into Cops. Joe decides cleverly to back out of that one. That was always going to end in a crash. But now F1 lover having a go at Tiger Assassin. They're going through the middle sector. Then Joe's actually gotten past JMB, so yellows, and that's going to be a Ferrari. That's Isaac Smart, I think. But now DRS open up in the battle for the lead as well. Can Absolute 11 make a move into Stowe? Bit too far back on this occasion here as they head down the hill now towards Vale. Anything trying for the championship leader on Cash Dengel. Nothing that he could possibly do at that point in time.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of a DRS train starting to fall now between the top 6, and yeah, it should really, well, it's going to be right an absolute great race for us as those are getting the move done on JB Surreal up into 11th place, and we're trying to fight towards the top 10.
Certainly will be, as now Absolute 11 round turn 4. Knackner's right on his gearbox as well. down the Wellington straight now. Absolute 11 gaining all the time on the Alfa Romeo. Too far back though. Again, Natty just not having enough pace in the straight line, it seems, to get through. But now he's gotten deep into turn 5, and now that's going to give Napula maybe a chance in towards Stowe corner. Can he make this work? The Finnish driver on his return to Gavra Racing, having a very strong showing here at the moment as the cars blast through cops. Look at that camera shot for you.
Yeah, we're starting to see a little bit of the DRS. Same forming Isaac Smart's round again in the final sector. He's not having the best of races here tonight, but Cash Daniels went a little bit deep, and that could give Absolute 11 the run he needs with the DRS. It's not going to any overtake, but he's gaining and gaining on the Alfa Romeo. Will he go for a move and decides not to?
Yeah, just looking backwards from the Alfa Romeo there as he defends from the AlphaTauri of Absolute 11. These 5 cars now, he's still so close, and V Roby is actually joining the back of this train now. The only major gap really exists between Tiger and V Roby. That gap currently stands at 1.3 seconds here. But the driver, they're just so similar in pace, all taking more or less the same line through turns 1 and 2 as Bonnie picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that could be crucial for the final finishing results of this race. Absolute 11 now trying different lines, everything he can to try and get past Cash Stengel. DRS will be open once again. This is the closest that he has been for the last couple of laps. Now Absolute 11 with a pull to the outside into turn 5. Can he get this move done? DRS slam shot, but nothing that Absolute could do under braking. But Napula looking hungry now on the back of the AlphaTauri. Can he make a move on one of his rivals in the championship? Nothing that Napula can do on the exit of Luffield. Absolute 11 though, looking at the back of Cash Stengel all the time as Isaac Smart's off again ahead of the front pack. As you can see him in the right hand side of your camera shot. Isaac Smart has retired from the session. That'll be a manual retirement then, really not feeling at one with that Ferrari. Oh, Cass takes a very aggressive line through Chapel, and now here comes Absolute 11 once again with a DRS open. Cass will defend this. Does Absolute 11 go to the outside? Yes, he does, but Cass manages to hold him off.
We've got an awesome fight up here between the top guys. V Roby's just dropping off a little bit from the rear of Ben Roberts' Ferrari, who's doing really well to keep up with the top running guys. GSW Bates getting past Spaniel. These two going wheel to wheel into Stowe. The Renault on the Williams. Bates doesn't send one down the inside, but Spaniel gets the move done up into 14th place. A
slight contact between the two there on exit there, Natty. No damage done there. But my eyes are glued up here for the battle for the lead right now. Ben Roberts having a look at Bonnie as she gets out of shape going through the loop. And now Cass once again really weaving to break that slipstream. But here comes Napula now, who's a lot closer to Absolute than Absolute is to Cash Stengel. But you just get the feeling here, Natty, that the drivers are just trying to settle into their own rhythm here, run their race, preserve the tyres, and then we'll see the proper race when we get towards the final couple of laps. But that being said, here comes Napula on the inside into Cops. Are they going to do this? Absolute backs out. Napula's gotten through then and has Absolute disconnected, because that looked very easy for the Finn.
I think he's still in the lobby, hasn't got an X next to his name, but yeah, really good move from Napula. Now he's going to hunt down the Alfa Romeo of Cash Stengel. Shams as well getting ahead of Spaniel towards the back, a few corners to go. But yeah, V Roby's dropped off a little bit, and here comes Ben Roberts on Bon Evil. So both
here comes Napula on Cash Stengel. He had a naughty look into Stowe. That's put Cass offline now. Sorry, Nax, but here comes Napula. Can he go to the outside on the Alfa Romeo? Decides not to go for it, but that could have been so close to disaster there between the two drivers in the battle for the lead.
Yeah, both AlphaTauris seem to lose pace a little bit. Absolute 11 losing position to Napula as Ben Roberts getting past his teammate Bon Evil, who's going to try and fight back at the Ferrari but can't quite do anything. In towards turn 2, we'll try and send one low, but
and that was unwise there from Bonnie, sending it in, risking damage to the front wing. But now DRS open once again for Napula. Cass hasn't gone defensive, he knows that it's coming. Napula to the inside, Cash Stengel tries to hold it round the outside, wheel to wheel, into Luffield. Can Napula drive this round the outside? He's going to try and get the cut back now off the corner of the old switcheroo as they head now down towards Cops Corner. Do they go wheel to wheel through one of the fastest parts of the track? Napula tucks into the slipstream. Does he look to the inside? Doesn't go on this occasion, deciding to back out out of it. Can't really go too wide through there. Now Nakula all over the back still of Castangle. He's pushing him through the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel section in the middle sector. DRS flies open once again. 0.3 of a second is the gap. You would think the Nakula has enough here to get past the Alfa Romeo. Cass has gone defensive. Does Nakula go for a move into so he sent it on the inside. Backs out at the last possible moment, but Cass is offline once again. Can Nakula go to the outside? He's going to try it into the Vale chicane and backs out once again. Brilliant defensive driving there from Cass.
Absolute insane battling for the lead. F1 Love as well, getting the move done on Tiger into Lafayette around the outside. There, Bon Evil capitalising on a mistake from Ben Roberts, gets up into 4th place. We're trying to catch up to the front 3 who are separated by, well, you could put a blanket over all 3 of them. Even 3 of them.
5.
Top 5, yeah.
I would even go as far to say the top 6 or 7 here, Natty. These drivers are so closely matched here. And now DRS open for Napula once again. This is going to be an easier move for the Finnish driver. They're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 5. Napula on the inside, making a move in the lead of the race, and he gets it done, Natty. Napula now leads a race in Gavra Racing for the first time in over a year, and that was definitely a move worth making.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm sure Castell's not going to want to let him go in this race. He's going to try and stay with him in the DRS and have another go into Stowe. We've had a good run through Magnussen, not bad, into Cox, so if he can have a good run into Magnussen back, he might try and go for another one into Stowe. But what a race we've got on our hands here tonight.
Definitely, it could go one of 5 ways, to be honest with you, Natty. This race, as now DRS, sorry, open once again for Cash Stengel as he tries to make a move on Nakula, but that hat looks very slippery in a straight line at the moment here, Natty.
Yeah, definitely, Cash Stengel's running a little bit wide. That could be a warning.
Oh, into the pits! Absolute 11 comes into the pits, that's early. And,
well, the undercut is quite powerful around this track, especially with the long pit lane. So might be trying something different on that 8th for Absolute 11.
Yeah, comes in 1 or 2 laps earlier then. So the front 2 will have to respond to this, because now Absolute 11 will be coming out of the pits with much fresher tyres, should have much greater pace, and will be able to overtake them in this first round of pit stops.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's also going to be thinking to himself that the top guys are going to be holding them each other up. As Cash Dangle looking for a movement, and Nakula just wasn't close enough to get it done. But Bon Evil's now dropped almost a second behind. Cash Dangle's F1 Lover getting the move done on the Roby on those medium tyres. He's doing well in 5th place. Currently he's 3 seconds behind the leader.
Yes, certainly, and crucially here, Natty, F1 Lover has picked up no penalty to 2 in front of him. Both have at least 3 seconds. His GS5 Bates picks up a 3-second time penalty as well for extending the track. What does Cash Stengel do here, Natty? Does he go for a move? Does he use up the tyres and try and push to get in track position? Because his teammate is now back into this, really, only 2.6 seconds behind, and will be going onto the soft tyres towards the end of the race. To the leader's pit, Napula is staying out. They're both staying out here, Natty, so both of them are committing to their original pit strategy. You've got overtakes galore. Oh, Jones!
Round.
And he's in the gravel. No damage done to the racing point. Wolfie, 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. And if he doesn't make another pit stop, that will be served after the end of the race.
And yeah, really unfortunate for Joe. Tried going water with Frozer in towards Stowe, 2 collided, and that's how Joe was sent into his spin. But starting to see a few pit stops now. Interestingly, none of the front 4 reacting to Absolute 11, so Absolute 11 could come back into this. I'm going to have the interval gap to the leader and just keep an eye on the gap between Absolute and the front runners.
Well, the gap right now, Natty, is only 29 seconds. You would argue then at this point, Absolute would come out ahead of Nakula and Cash Stengel. So this may have worked out beautifully for the German. He currently finds himself in 13th position, but is out of sync with the cars around him.
Yeah, and the field is still so close together. There's like 14 seconds between 9th and the leader. We're only on that 10th. And still so close. Cash Stengel trying to get the move done on that field as well. Both on similar amounts. Cash Stengel having about 20% more than the Finn, but he still seems to pull away in a straight line, which is keeping Nakula ahead for now.
And Cash is in.
Bonnie's in as well. Anyone that follows.
So Naturalist stays out for another lap here. And, well, he has to go to the mediums here, Natty, because he can't go to the set of the softs. He's on the softs right now. So this could be this is an interesting play here for Nakula, an interesting tactic. We'll have to see if it works out, because you can easily do about half race distance on those softs in this race.
Yeah, and we know Nakula likes to try something different with the strategy, and staying out is something he likes to do. But we got the train of three cars coming out of the pits. Where's Absolute 11? He's coming around the final corner now.
It's going to be
close. This is going to be really close. He sets the fastest lap of the race.
It's going to be very close.
Travelling at 37 miles per hour. They just reached an Absolute 11.
He's got
ahead
them.
Of all three of them.
So there you go, there's the undercut for you. Cat staying out for 2 more laps. Now finds himself behind Absolute 11. And as we predicted there, Natty, Absolute coming out ahead of this lot now.
Surely Napula needs to react to this lap. The gap was 29 seconds between him and the leader. It's now 28.
There's a car off. I think it might have been V Roby off in the first sector. No safety car or anything like that called. I think he got back on track fairly quickly. Sorry, Natty.
Yeah, no damage to the Haas, but yeah, Napula's going to come out a second behind Absolute 11 at this rate.
Yeah, that's definitely not what Napula needs for his race at the moment. Does he come in? He stays out! Napula stays out! He must be goal hanging for a safety car here or something. Because at the moment he could lose up to 5 positions.
And the gap's now dipping into the 27s between Absolute and Napula, and it was 28.5 between Absolute and Hashtengel, and Absolute 11's come out ahead of all three of them, sorry.
Well, the pit stop here, Natty, is about 29-30 seconds. That's how long the pit lane is here. So you would say at the moment he's going to come out between Ben Roberts and Bonnie Evil.
This is going to be really close. The only drivers also not pitting are the ones on the medium tyres. Bates, Ted, Shankster and F1 are all starting this race on the mediums.
As Cash Stengel then, if he wants the lead of this race, well, he has to do it on track now. With those fresh and medium tyres, then Absolute in front. Can Cash Stengel do anything in the first DRS zone round this track? He's going to try and go for a move here, is he? On Absolute, he's going to work it to the inside, gets the move done. Nice and cleanly done there by the Dutchman, and gets his Alfa Romeo up into P6.
Yeah, good move from Cash Stengel with the DRS down the inside. Wolfie getting the move done on V Roby. He's gone wide though, has set the fastest middle sector interestingly, so those fresh mediums working for the Red Bull, and gets the move done up into 11th place.
Yeah, nice move there from Wolfie, pushing his car up, and Nakula finally comes into the pits. So where will he come out? On the track map there, Absolute 11 is just coming through Chapel. So Cash Stengel even just coming through Chapel, down the hangar straight. Nakula is still in the pits.
Surely it's going to be in between Bonnie and Ben.
I think you're right there, Natty. Nakula's just stopped in his pit box now. Yellows.
Joe.
Oh, and Joe's round the cops. And Nakula coming down the pit straight at 37 miles an hour. He's going to be out way behind here, Natty. Cash Stengel is through. Absolute 11 is through. Bonnie is through. And so is going to be Ben Roberts. Where does Nakula come out? He's in P8. Yeah, Natty, as we predicted, in between Bonnie and Ben. And so he now has a lot of positions to make up in the final stages of this race.
He's on those fresher tyres, but around this track, the track position is quite important as DRS is vital as Cash Stengel gets ahead of GSY Bates. Absolute 11 might try and follow him through, but GSY Bates starting this race in the mediums as Joe retires in the pit lane from this race.
A day that has gone from bad to worse for the British drive at its home Grand Prix, as now Absolute 11 going around the outside of GSY Bates, but as we said, Bates kind of let him go into cops, not wishing to cause a big incident between the two drivers there. But
yeah, Bates being in the middle of this, obviously started the race from the mediums, it's going to be holding up Bonnie and Napula a little bit. I mean, he's in the DRS train now, and he's gaining on absolute 11. Probably won't go for a move because he's not really in this fight on those 12-lap-old mediums, but he's put a gap between Bonnie and Absolute.
Absolute's quite wide through Stone. That's put himself offline now onto those marbles. That's going to take away some of the grip on those medium tyres for the next couple of corners. What can Napula do now here, Nats? He has to overtake all 4 of these cars on track. He's just done the fastest final sector of absolutely anybody so far. Again, one of the things you have to just wait and see as Bonnie sends it down the inside of GSY Bates because very wide. They're into turn 3. Bates will try and come back at her now round the outside of turn 5. And nothing that Bates can do to fight back. Here comes Napula then. DRS open, overtake button on, in the slipstream, looks to the inside on the Williams, brakes later, gets the move done, but Bates going to fight this one back round the outside, doesn't have the grip that Napula does. Napula moves himself up into P7.
Yeah, Bates just falling behind now on those real mediums and probably being to the pits in the next 3 or 4 laps, maybe for a set of soft tyres, but yeah, the front 3 not pitting as of yet. We're starting on those medium tyres. Ted Shankster F1 lover, and well, interestingly, Shankster spinning on the opening few laps. He's only 6 seconds behind F1 lover and actually comes into the pits.
Oh, so that's an early stop and see the soft tyres for Shankster. 12 laps to go, including this one. But look at the gap actually here, Natty, between Cass and Absolute 11. That's opened up now to almost 2 seconds. So it's Absolute already struggling on those tyres compared to his competitors. Shankster goes on to the soft and seems to be charging through the field on this final stint. Ted into the pits as well, looking to improve his fortunes in the McLaren.
So it's going to be interesting to see whether we get team orders at AlphaTauri. Maybe Bonnie, who is at Absolute 11, might let Bonnie go through on the fresher tyres. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, the gap is now 2 seconds compared to Castellano and Absolute 11. Bonnie getting really close to the rear of her teammate, and is going to go for the move on Absolute 11.
Yes, she is, and Absolute didn't even have enough time to respond. And Napula's caught them both napping here. Napula down the inside of Absolute 11, gets the move done, forces Absolute wide on the entrance to life. Can he hold it round the outside? Yes, he can. Here comes the finish drive. They're still wheel to wheel as they head up towards Cops Corner. They're side by side. Whether you want to say into Cops, are they going to take this wheel to wheel? They are. And Napula around the outside at Cops. Full commitment, full trust between the 2 drivers now. Napula on the inside for Maggot, for Beckett, and now for Chapel, and Napula gets the move done. What a move that was. Beautiful driving there from both drivers, but it's still not over in the slipstream. Absolute tucks back in. Napula's going to try and hold this round the outside. Winter Stowe, and now Absolute never gets the move back on the inside. Can he hold it round the outside into the Vale chicane? Napula breaks later. Napula gets the move done.
Things you'll love to see in F1. Beautiful racing between Absolute and Napula. The Haas driver coming out on top in that one. But, wow.
That was amazing driving from the 2, but it's still not over. Absolute 11. Looks like he might be going for a move on Napula, but he just doesn't seem to have the tyres at the moment. Natty, look at how close F1 Lover is to this group. He's only 3.8 seconds behind Ben Roberts here.
He's on those fresh soft tyres as well, 8 seconds behind the leader Castellano. And what a race we've got left for us tonight. 10 laps to go, and it's definitely still on for F1 Lover.
And could we see a bit of an Alfa Romeo pincer movement here even, as Castellano maybe slowing up the field a bit to bring his teammate F1 Lover back into play. Napula only 1.1 seconds down on Bonnie now as they head through the middle sector.
Bonnie closing the gap a little bit towards Castellano. Only 2 of the top 7 drivers not picking up any time penalties as things stand at the minute. That's not going to Castellano, so those 2 are in a really good position for the race win at the end.
Yes, certainly, as Napula now at 1.2 seconds behind Bonnie, but as you were saying, Natty, Bonnie does have that 3-second time penalty, but that's not going to matter to Napula. He wants to win this race on track, and he's currently about 2.8 seconds behind Cash Stengel there, who leads this race.
as Juicewell Bates is into the pits off of those mediums. The only one who hasn't pit yet, just making his scheduled pit stop onto these set of soft tyres. Could see him through to the end of the race.
Yeah, certainly, and surprisingly, Natty, no safety cars. That's an interesting statistic from this race. That's how I've just doomed. I'm not going to say you've hit a bit of a lull here, because you honestly haven't.
I mean, it's been great racing from the top 5 all race. I mean, it looks like it's going to continue for the remaining 9 laps in this race. But we're jumping on those fresh mediums. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. F1 Lover's gained about 6/10 a lap on Ben Revicott, so definitely gaining on those fresh soft tyres.
As Hakan making a move on Juicewell Bates around the outside at turn 3. Getting himself now up into P16 at the moment as we keep our camera up here on the front group. Kind of spaced out at the moment. Let's go back down here to the 2 Red Bulls who are very close on track. We're going to see some team orders here between Wolfie and Thunder, the all-Irish lineup down at Red Bull. First time a team has competed with 2 Irish drivers in the Premier Series. Thunder now with DRS on his teammate, and it looks like Wolfie is going to let him go here as Thunder now tries to recover from that first lap spin, puts his car up into 11th position. And Nakula Natty has got DRS on Don Evil. Let's go. And
so the fight begins. Napula on 2 lap fresher mediums, deciding to stay out on those softs. He's going to have to gain, I'd say, a little bit more time to catch Dengel as well if he's to win this race, because battling with Bonnie is not going to be an easy overtake. We've seen what these guys have done in the opening stint on those soft tyres, so I might lose a little bit of time to catch Dengel, and then we'll really have to push on his fresher mediums.
And Gav actually making a great point in the chat. F1 Lover is really closing that gap now. It's down from 4.8 to 2.2. F1 Lover going great guns at the closing stages of this race. He's still got 9 laps to go, including this one though, so anything can still happen. Nakula is really gaining on Bon Evil. Those tyres just don't seem to be working on the AlphaTauri at the moment. It's seeming like they're overheating a bit, but now Nakula will have the DRS. Bonnie won't have anything from many cars in front of her, and Nakula's going to be gaining all the time down this straight. He needs to make this move quickly so that he can get after Cash Dengel as quickly as possible here. The question is though, will Bonnie fight this? Because she obviously has that 3-second time penalty, which is going to drop her behind Nakula already.
Yeah, I think she'll probably try and fight this as much as she can to try and give her teammate Absolute 11 a fighting chance to catch back up to Absolute 11 and for that older mediums. That just shows how early Absolute 11 came in compared to how late Nakula came in, but he's definitely gaining on the back of that AlphaTauri, and if they're not careful enough, F1 Lover's going to be catching up to these guys pretty shortly now.
Well, he already is. 1.5 seconds now between F1 Lover and Ben Roberts. So getting down from 4.8. F1 Lover's really going great guns at the moment. It's Nakula. He's got slightly much better traction, and we're going to see another moving to cops between them. Now off the corner, accelerating up through the gears. Overtake button on for Bonnie. She's got less ERS deployment than Nakula does. Through cops, no moves being made at the moment. It's going to be the Hannah straight then for the Finn to try and get past the Englishwoman at her home event. What can Nakula do? 0.7 of a second, the DRS will fly open once again. And Ben Roberts now looking to make a move on Absolute 11. He's going to go for a move at Absolute 11. Nakula might be going for a move on Bonnie. Indeed he is. They're going wheel to wheel into Stowe Corner. They both have so much trust in each other not to wipe themselves out of this race. Nakula looks to the inside at the Vale chicane, backs out of it though. And Nakula just showing his nose to Bonnie, letting him know that she is there, letting her know that he is there. And just putting her offline, trying to get inside her head a little bit with 6 laps left to run.
Thunder as well getting moved on Fraser up into the points after his spin, but Cash Dengel lost a little bit of time on that lap. The gap went down to 1.2, is now back up to 1.6. Nakula almost pushing the AlphaTauri through the first sector, and surely with the DRS he's going to go for this one, gaining on the AlphaTauri who defends the inside line.
Can he get the old switcheroo into left field? Let's try and drive it around the outside. Gets a better exit off the corner now. Overtake button on. And we're going to see it again. Into Cox. I don't think so. I don't think so, Natty. But wow.
Absolute 11 as well, gaining on Ben Roberts. So 2 fights for the podium. Here comes Absolute 11. Actually might go for a move into Maggots, but decides to back out of that one.
So we're going to keep the camera up here on Napula and Bonnie. This is for the higher places in the championship. As now, sorry Natty, F1 Lover has got DRS on Absolute 11, and Napula has got DRS on his teammate, going to the outside line. Napula works to the outside at Stowe, that's contact, and Bonnie's round. Bonnie's round at Stowe, that lets her teammate back through up into 3rd position now. Ben Roberts up into 4th, and now F1 Lover is brought back into play here. He's only 4 tenths behind the Englishwoman, and Napula is released into 2nd position. Can he now get after Cash Stengel with 5 laps left to go in this race?
It's going to be a really close ending here. Napula gaining on Cash Stengel, and F1 Lover on those pretty much fresh, soft tyres compared to everyone else's older mediums. This is going to be a really intense end to this one.
Napula! Napula's round! Napula's round, he's got wing damage at turn 3! And that's the end of Napula's charge! Oh no, that's horrible luck there for the Finnish driver. He's not going to drop way out of this battle for the lead, and that'll be a sigh of relief, I'm sure, for Cash Stengel.
And how unfortunate for Napula, just as he got past Bon Evil up into 2nd place, turns himself round at turn 4.
So now it's what can F1 Lover do on those fresh, soft tyres? Can he get himself up into 2nd? Could we have our first Alfa Romeo 1-2 of the season? DRS open for the Anglo-Ghanaian driver, making his way now down the hangar straight. And nothing that he could do there, but actually Bonnie's wide. That could give F1 Lover a chance. Into the Vale chicane, has not decided to go for it on this lap.
And just having a quick look at penalties, Ben Roberts, F1 Lover, and Ben Roberts and F1 Lover on 3 seconds, everyone else around on 6. Shanks are behind on 3 seconds, so could find himself back up in this fight on penalties.
And also on those fresh soft tyres, Natty, as we were mentioning before. But F1 Lover just isn't able to get past at the moment. That DRS train really helping the cars in front out a bit. As Ben trying to close the gap on Absolute 11. DRS open for the Ferrari. It's closed on the Alpha Tauri. But still nothing that Ben Roberts can do.
Ben Roberts running a really good race at the moment in P3 for the Ferrari team. Bon Evil getting closer and closer to that Ferrari. Almost looked like there was contact, but thankfully there was none. As Ben Roberts now finds himself in an Alpha Tauri sandwich, and that gap between Absolute 11 and Cash Stengel is going up and up and up.
And certainly all of the drivers here have got more ERS than F1 Lover, who currently sits at the back of this group in 5th position. But F1 is on those fresh soft tyres. Bonnie with a DRS, she's a lot closer to Ben Roberts than Ben is to her teammate Absolute. Absolute weaving to try and break the slipstream now. And great defensive driving here from the German and the championship leader. F1's a bit too far back, but Bonnie sent it on F1 Lover. I'm sorry, on Ben Roberts. And nothing that she can do there. That could have ended in quite a big crash.
Napula actually comes into the pits, it seems, to repair the wing damage, put on a fresh set of softs and potentially snatch away the fastest lap of the race. Really unfortunate for Napula there. I'm not sure what happened, whether there was contact or whether he lost it by himself.
Oh, Bonnie really hassling the back of the Ferrari now. Only 0.2 of a second the gap, but Ben Roberts has got a lot of speed in the straight line, it would look like. But just not able to get past the Alpha Tauri of Absolute 11 at the moment.
That gap between Cash Stengel and Absolute 11 now up to 4 seconds. Cash Stengel as well hasn't got a single penalty at the minute, has got 2 warnings, so 1 more warning, and it will be a 3-second time penalty for the Alfa Romeo driver.
And just going over to the penalties here. So, Absolute 11 actually on 6 seconds of penalties. So it's not necessarily over with the final finishing positions then. DRS open for Ben Roberts is a lot closer to Absolute. They're going to go for a move on the inside into Stowe on lap 23. Ben Roberts goes into second position on track then. And the Ferrari now gets into P2.
Let's move from Ben Roberts. He's still got 3 laps to go. F1 lover still on the back of this train. I think his tyres are starting to die down just a little bit. Still has about 4 more laps of life in those tyres. And it's definitely going to get them to the end of the race. But in terms of pace and performance, I think everyone's on about equal tyre wear now. Those 12 lap mediums and the 7 lap soft tyres.
Yeah, as F1 lover really not being able to make an impression here on the cars in front. Will we see some team orders between the two AlphaTauri drivers? Will Bonnie be let through by Absolute? But Absolute's going to go for a move on Ben Roberts actually into turn 5 and gets moved on the inside. Ben's going to try and fight it now into Luffield, but nothing that Ben can do there. GS5 Bates picks up a 3-second time penalty now as well. He's down in P16 at the moment. Naturally, it's the fastest lap of the race, so does snatch that point away then, but he is in 15th, so that won't count for anything unless he can find 5 more positions. Great camera shot there as the cars blasted their way through Cops Corner. And these 3 are so close here. Oh, Shank, where's he come from? Shanks are into P6.
But Bon Evil and Absolute 11 and 6-second time penalty, so they're going to lose out. Here goes Ben Roberts, here goes Bon Evil as well. This could be 3 wide going into Stowe.
Two AlphaTauris. The two AlphaTauris really coming together there. Does Bonnie switch it to the inside on the teammate? She's going to break late, try and go round the outside, but nothing doing there. But she's got wide. That gives F1 lover a chance now into the final corner. F1 lover on the inside using his superior traction on those soft tyres. Gets past Bonnie now on lap 25 of 26, and there's nothing that Bonnie can do. She's picked up another 3-second time penalty now. That's going to be her firmly out of this battle.
As Absolute 11 doesn't get the best of runs through turn 2, riding the curb.
And he's also wide here now, Nancy. That gives F1 lover another chance to get past one of his rivals. DRS flies open for both cars, both using all of the ERS they have remaining. Can F1 lover get up onto the podium here in what is technically his home Grand Prix, but Bonnie sent it down the inside and nearly collects the Alfa Romeo.
As things stand with penalties, Absolute 11 will lose out to F1 lover. It could be a Ferrari powered 1-2-3 at the minute as things stand.
And make sure to put your vote in for driver of the day then. The poll is there in the chat. F1 lover.
Shanks are doing really well to recover from that spin earlier.
F1 to the bad exit, and now Bonnie on the inside into Stowe. But here comes Shanster now. Shanster going to go for a move on both of them. DRS stamp shot to go 3-1 into Stowe. There's contact between F1 lover and Shanster. No damage. No one spins round, but luckily they're not to come out of a crash. But Shanster's going to dive into the inside now on F1 lover. There's almost contact at the Vale chicane, and luckily both drivers getting away unscathed there.
Shanks are getting a little bit loose on the rear as well, but yeah, we start the final lap of what's been an amazing British Grand Prix here, and Absolute 11 still trailing behind the Ferrari of Ben Roberts. As things stand on penalties, F1 lover and Shanks are going to go ahead of Bonnie and Absolute 11, but there's still time left to get warnings and penalties. It doesn't look like anyone's close enough to make a move. It seems Shanks is just falling a little bit too far back behind F1 lover.
And don't forget, Shanks are picking up that LLP2 from last race, meaning that he will drop 3 positions from wherever he finishes today. Oh, what a race it has been today, Nat. This battle for second still raging on in the dying moments of this this race here. As Bonnie with that 9 seconds worth of penalties are going to drop behind both F1 lover and Shanks, but will get the position back as Shanks drops places from his LLP2 penalty. Ooh, absolutely had a bad run now off the final. You would say this is really the final overtaking opportunity here. F1 Lover on the inside of F1 Lover, but gets the move done into Stowe. We're going to come up here and look at Cash Stengel here, Natty, who has taken pole position, led more or less every lap of the race, and it has been a superb drive from the Dutchman. Cash Stengel takes the win in Silverstone. Ben Roberts is going to be second. Looks like Bonito got past her teammate in the battle for third, but absolutely takes it on penalties, but they both drop behind Shankster and F1 Lover on those penalties. But remember, Shankster will drop to 6th position with that LLP2, which puts F1 Lover onto the podium, making it an Alfa Romeo 1-3. Great race.
Yeah, great points as well for the Alfa Romeo team. Ben Roberts as well doing really well to get his way up into 2nd place in that race as well for the Ferrari. Unfortunately, his teammate Isaac Smart didn't have the greatest of races either.
And yeah, Frozer crossing the line there to take the final points paying position. Thunder managed to recover up into P8 after his spin on lap 1, but that was a stellar race, absolutely incredible. Great battles all the way through the field. Sorry we didn't catch quite all of the overtakes, but that's just the nature of these things from time to time. And yeah, that was a great race.
Yeah, that probably would be one of the best of the season. I don't think we've had a dull race this season, and we're 7 rounds into the Premier Series. Frozer picking up driver of the day, but from an on-track performance, that battle up top lasted the entire race from lap 1 all the way towards lap 28. Janus as well doing really well to get up into 3rd place from his spin, but unfortunately his penalty will drop him down a few positions in the end.
And I'm sure that win on track will make the victory all that much sweeter for this man, Cash Stengel, taking another win here in the Premier Series, taking another step towards Absolute 11 in the Drivers' Championship as well. And again, this has been an absolutely outstanding race. Well done to all of the Premier Series drivers. So let's take you through how they finished this evening. So Cash Stengel takes the win. Ben Roberts in 3rd. It will be F1 Lover in 4th. In 3rd, sorry, with Absolute 11 in 5th, and then Bonnie in 6th, with Shanks dropping that position with an LP2 penalty. Tiger in 7th, Thunder 8th, JMB Surreal in 9th, and Frozer taking the last points paying position. Ted in 11th, V Roby in 12th, Napula. Disappointment for Napula, takes the fastest lap, but that will be a very little solace, I'm sure, for him. Spannel in 14th, Wolfie dropping down to 15th in the end, Hakan going up to 16th, sorry, GSY Bates in 17th, and then our 2 non-classified drivers, Joe and Isaac Smart, round out the grid today. And if we can have a lot more races like that, I will be a very, very happy person. But again, Natty, I mean, final thoughts from you, because I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely amazing from the drivers tonight. Cash Stengel closes the championship lead down to 23 points, I believe, from 36. So a good day for him. Ben Roberts as well. I think this is his first Gavra podium for him.
I believe so, yes.
As after having, I think, 3 DNFs this season, finds himself on the podium, so good job from him tonight. So yeah, the championship is now a lot closer, with Cash Stengel winning this race and Absolute 11 finishing in 4th.
And yeah, so again, love that one. Absolutely love that one. We'll take some final reaction from here in the chat as well, saying good race, I have velocity. Napia saying GG as a Cash Stengel, so coming out there being the sportsman after his unfortunate situation, sorry. Bonnie saying there was certainly a lot of hard racing. The cars were just so close in the end there. Ben Roberts saying that his first podium in the top leagues, that is indeed what we meant, Ben Roberts. But yeah, great job, Premier Series drivers, and make sure to tune in tomorrow when Tiger and Dutchie will be taking you through all of the Super League action from the same track in Silverstone at 8:30. The fastest drivers in F1 on Gavra Racing. Me and Natty racing that, so if you want to see us step out of the commentary box and into a virtual F1 car, make sure to tune in tomorrow at 8:30. And then on Friday, we bring you action from Monza for the final time in Group 3 in the GT Sport League. The championship is hopefully hotting up in Group 1 there for that race. And on Sunday we've got another weekend league race, so be sure to join our new commentators for that as well. And also be sure to head over to the Gavra Racing shop to get yourself some lovely merch. But for me and Natty and the Premier Series, it's going to be good evening. What an evening it was. What a race. And yeah, hopefully we have more of this in Belgium next week. But for now, we're going to see you later.
See you next